Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Focus 45.
Yes. Today you are being taught by Sean and Michelle. You may or may not know us. We are the webinar dream team. Yeah, we'll introduce ourselves, and as always, you guys really should introduce yourselves in the comments so we can get to know you and introduce yourself so you can answer comments throughout the webinar. So, my name is Sean. I am Irish. I am 21 years old. I have lived and worked in Milan since September, and I work in the school on Via Meravigli with the lovely.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michelle. You've probably seen us before. I work with Sean in Milano Meravigli, and I'm from Pakistan. And I've been living in Milan for about 3 years now, so it's been a while. And
Mhm.
today's activity is fun because it's on how to give instructions.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we are writing instructions, sequencing words, and we're going to do this for hobbies. So a particular hobby that you have, you're going to tell us about it. You're going to give us instructions on everything to do with this hobby. And to do that, you need your sequencing words and just general
Mm.
things for written English that you may or may not know. So, will we get started?
Yep, let's do this.
Okay, so we have some prompts for questions. These are
Mm.
not full questions, so we need to make full questions about hobbies. So, how do we make these full questions, Michelle?
Well, before we jump into the questions themselves, perhaps we should review question words and how we use them, right? So in English, we
Mhm.
have about 7 question words, which are then mixed and matched. And let's just get to it. First up, we have why. Why is for reason. Then we have where. Where is for location, place. We have what. What is for things and information. We have when. When is for time. We have which is for choice. So, which can be a little confusing for non-native speakers. We use which when you have more than one option and you have to pick one. For example, which ice cream flavor is your favorite? So you have chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, mango, and you pick one.
Mhm.
Okay,
For me, it's chocolate.
me too. I love chocolate ice cream. But last year, when I was in the south of Italy, I discovered cremolata, which
Oh.
yep, and I've never had that before, and I had it in pistachio, and it was
Mm.
so good. And I found myself choosing cremolata over ice cream.
Oh, wow. It's a
Yep,
big,
that
big
is
commitment.
the
Mm. I must try it sometime.
definitely pistachio cremolata.
Okay,
So
okay,
good. Okay, but not in the north. You have to go to the south to try it.
okay, okay. Well, we have
Okay.
someone from the south. We have
Mm.
Marcello. Hello, my name is Marcello. I come from Sicily. but I live in Legnano. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Marcello.
Yeah, welcome. We're so happy you're here. And Marcelo, tell us, what do you think about the cremolata in Sicily?
Yeah.
Okay, so back to our question words. We were on who. Who is for person. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six. So we have six starting with W, and we have one starting with H, which is how. Now, how can be a little confusing sometimes, because we use it in a variety of ways. When we use how, we can ask about manner, condition, and quality. Now, to break this up further, manner is the way you do something. For example, how do you go to work? I go to work by tram, by car, by motorcycle, whatever your mode of transportation is. So the way you do something. Condition, an example would be how is your mother? What is the condition of her health? And quality would be how is the chocolate? How is the ice cream? Is it good or is it rubbish?
Mm.
Right. So once we have these main question words, we can then start building our questions. So the first question is why, which is for a reason. So and then before that we have favorite, which is our question mark, which is asking for information. So I would say, what is your favorite hobby and why is it your favorite hobby?
Mm. Great. So, what is your favorite hobby and why is it your favorite hobby? Michelle.
My favorite hobby. Okay, so my favorite hobby would be working out because why is it my favorite hobby? Because when I was younger, I was very unathletic. So, yep. But now that I have a little bit of athleticism, I'm a little bit athletic now. I like moving my body. I like feeling good. It's not just about looking a certain way, but when I
Mm.
finish my workout, I feel really good. I have all of these good hormones flooding my system, and I feel like I can take on the world. So that's why I think working out, exercising is my favorite hobby.
That's great. What kind of a workout do you do, Michelle?
Well, it depends. When things were normal, I would go to the gym, but I also work out at home. So I do a mixture of strength training, which is when you lift heavy weights, cardio, which gets your heart rate up and helps you burn fat. And I also do something called HIIT, which is high intensity interval training. That
Mm.
is my favorite kind of workout because it's short. It's only about 30 minutes, but it's very intense.
Okay. So you get a lot done in a short
Hmm.
time. That's great. And at the moment, are you able to do anything in the way of working out?
I do. At the moment, I am working out less, only about 3 to 4 times a week. But I'm managing to do that, and I have my friend who joins me on Zoom every morning at seven
Oh,
thirty.
okay. For that, that's still a lot for me. I don't work out once a week, so 4 to 5 times is quite a bit.
No, 3 to 4, not 4 to 5.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, but
Marcella.
I didn't start doing that
Mhm.
until much later. So
Okay. Well, Marcella had answered our question, which is
Mm.
great because we want every last one of you to do that, all five of
Mhm.
you. So my favorite hobby. Now be careful with this because the plural hobbies is IES, but the singular is with a Y, hobby, because often words that end in a Y, we make plurals in this way. We add IES. We don't just add an S. So my favorite hobby with a Y is football because when I was a child, I loved that. I played past tense football once a week. I played with my friends, just a word order issue. Oh
Mhm.
no, maybe you do this now. I play football once a week. I play with my friends and I go to play football in Legnano. Okay, that's great, Marcello. Good to hear that you're playing football. Yeah. And we also have Simona joining us. What's your favorite hobby, Simona? Let us know. And for me, I will also answer this question.
Mhm.
I like to paint. I like painting because I've always liked art. I've always liked making art. And for me, it's a time that I can really forget my surroundings and focus on a task. When I'm painting, I don't think about anything else. I'm in the zone. You know, you're concentrating on something. And for me, it's the best feeling in the world. And I like doing that.
That's beautiful. If
Mm.
we have any students from Meravili, Sean is actually responsible for some of the drawings that you see on the blackboard. So he
We
and
have.
Lisa are our resident school artists, and he is very talented. Okay, we have
Well, we
Simona.
haven't been in the school for a while. They've definitely forgotten them. But anyway.
We have Simona saying that her favorite hobby is to travel. And Ugo, who says he's from Verona and his favorite hobby is fishing because it relaxes him. So the thing with relax in Italian, it's reflexive, but in English, it's not. So you can say it relaxes me, but we don't say I relax myself.
Mm. Yeah, fishing, that's a good one.
Hmm,
It requires too much patience for me. I've never been able to fish.
me neither. I tried it once and I was so disturbed by having to hook on live worms onto a hook, the fish hook, and then as
Mm,
bait, and then the
mm,
smell and the motion sickness and just doing nothing.
not for you. Yeah,
It's not for
hobbies
me.
are
Not for me.
very, very personal anyway, I
Yeah, absolutely. And I do appreciate that it can be very relaxing indeed.
think. So, the next question, how often? I will make this a full question. So, how
Hmm.
often is about frequency. So, how often do you something? How often do you work out? How often do you paint? How often do you do your favorite?
So, how often do you paint, Sean?
Um, it depends a little bit on how busy I am working. At the moment, I'm painting all the time because I have lots and lots
Lovely.
of free time. Generally, before that, I painted maybe once a week during the weekend at some point. Not as often as I would like. And in normal
Wow.
circumstances, how many times a week do you work out?
Around five.
Hmm.
Around five, because I like to go to the gym, and I usually hit the gym in the mornings. So Around five, I aim for six. If I hit six in a week, I consider myself super accomplished, but it's usually five.
That's great. Yeah, that's very frequent. So, how frequently well, Marcello told us he plays football once a week. Simona, how
Mhm.
frequently do you travel? Ugo, how frequently do you fish? And the next one, with who? This can be a bit tricky, I think, because of where you
Mm.
put with. Yeah, so Michelle, how do we make a full sentence here?
Okay, so in English, you need to remember that the preposition goes at the end of the question. Now, this is different from a sentence which is affirmative or negative, because in those sentences, the preposition will go in the middle of the sentence. So the question is, who do you do your hobby with? So over here, we can even use the verb practice. Who do you practice your hobby with? So you can use do or practice. It depends on what your hobby is.
Hmm.
So as I
So
mentioned in the sentence, it goes in the middle. So an example would be that I um, practice my hobby with my friend. So sorry, Sean, I cut you off.
I was just going to say well done to Ugo for his example for how frequently he goes fishing.
Mm,
Usually I go fishing once a week. No need for the two. I go fishing once a week. And excellent use of an adverb of frequency, usually. And Simona has also used this. Very good. I usually go trekking at the weekend. Careful for the preposition at the weekend. So very good. Wow, trekking. Wonderful in the nature. Definitely
mm,
not for me, trekking.
Marcelo has gone all out and he says, I often work in the afternoon. I never play guitar. I sometimes read a book. I usually eat eggs in the morning and I hardly ever go to the cinema.
No,
Fantastic.
that's all of them, isn't it? All of the adverbs are frequency.
Fantastic work.
Yeah. So where were we? Who do you practice your hobby with? You said you do with your friend on
Hmm.
Zoom. Do you go to the gym together normally?
No,
Mm-hmm.
normally I usually work out alone.
Hmm. Do you ever go to a class? Do you have a trainer?
No,
Oh,
no.
it's
I used to be a trainer, so I kind of know what
good.
I'm doing
Okay, wow. You're a
back in the
pro.
day.
Yeah, I always paint alone. I did a class once or twice many years ago, but I like painting on my own. I think it's nice to have something to do just by yourself, listen to some music,
Mm,
relax.
that sounds lovely. It sounds like a very relaxing Saturday morning, the kind you see in movies.
Yeah. Living my best life, you know yourself.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Simona says she practices her hobby with her husband. And Ugo says, I go fishing. So we take out the preposition. I go fishing with my friend. Sometimes I go alone. Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, so the last one is where.
Mm,
So, where, like any other question word, do you do or practice your hobby? So for me at home, I paint at home. It can sometimes be a problem, the smell of the paint, and it gets a bit messy, but I do not have a studio, so I have to do it at home. You go to the gym. Do you ever go running in the park or something like that, Michelle?
I tried that once, but I have no sense of direction and I got lost in Sempione.
Really? Okay. It is a big park, isn't it?
Thanks, Sean. Yeah. So since then, I
Just
haven't.
the treadmill.
Yeah, it's just been the treadmill. But I do hate the treadmill. I find it so boring. But yeah.
Hmm.
So I prefer to do something that's cardio based, but not on the treadmill itself.
Okay,
What kind
great.
of paints do you use?
I'm really not very. I'm not an expert. I like acrylic because it dries quickly.
Hmm.
Oil, it's so slow to dry that it's quite frustrating for me to have to leave it to dry. I need to get on with my day.
Yeah.
So I use acrylic, and also acrylic is a bit cheaper, but in an ideal world, maybe I would use oils. Yeah, so everyone, please tell us where do you go trekking, Simona? Where do you go fishing, Ugo? And Marcello, where do you read? Where do you eat eggs? All of the wonderful things you said. So, we'll go on to the next slide. Great work from everyone. Oh, and you're very quick today, everyone.
Yeah.
Simona, I practice my hobby at the park in my city. Yeah, great. So she has a sense of direction, maybe.
Unlike me. If you see me in the streets, do not ask me for directions. Don't.
Hmm. Okay, let's go on. So, step one, think about your favorite hobby.
Mm,
So, we have a little assignment here. Michelle, do you want to read through this slide?
absolutely. Think about your favorite hobby. You are an expert. Write an article for a magazine about your favorite hobby. Start with introducing the hobby. To begin, think about why this is a good hobby. When can you do it? Time of year. Why do you like it? What's great about it? I
Hmm.
like slash I love because skiing is my favorite hobby because.
Great. So, we're going to kind of write a little article in the comments, maybe step by step. So we're going
Hmm.
to answer these questions about our hobbies. So I'll talk about painting, Michelle will talk about working out, and you guys write about your hobbies, of course. So why this is a good hobby, when can you do it, why do you like it, what's great about it. So kind of revisiting what we said before and sort of bringing it all together to present it.
Hmm.
And before we do that, Ugo goes fishing in the Garda Lake, but now I can't due to quarantine. Must be lovely to fish on Lake Garda, very idyllic.
Mm.
Mm. Okay, so let's go through these. I will speak about painting first. So, why this is a good hobby? I think it's good for everyone to be creative, whether you are very talented or not. I think it's good for the soul to try and paint, to try and make art. You can do it any time of year. It's nice in summer to try painting outside, but even if in winter you can paint indoors, I like it because, again, like I said, you get in the zone, you get relaxed, you get to a place of concentration, and you can forget all your problems, all your worries. And for me, that's really what's great about it. What about working out, Michelle?
Okay, I think it helps. I like working out because it not only helps me stay fit, but also helps me feel good about myself. And there are many proven health benefits, both mental and physical, that come out of a workout, a good workout. When can you do it? You can do it any time of the year, any time of the day. You don't need any equipment. All you need is yourself. Why do I like it? Because, as I mentioned, I wasn't athletic when I was younger, and I enjoy the opportunity to be athletic now. And I think it makes me feel good. And sometimes when I'm having a bad day, it also helps me work through any issues and helps me calm down. And that's
Okay.
why I like it, and that's what's great about it.
Yeah, yeah. I think hobbies are always a place to be yourself, to get over what's difficult in life.
Hmm.
And
Absolutely.
mm,
It's something that brings
yeah,
you joy in life.
definitely, definitely. So, like I said, can you guys answer one or two of these questions in the comments? And we will go to the next slide, which is maybe will be helpful in talking a bit about your hobbies, because
Mm.
this outlines some very common issues when you're writing in English. So here we have six incorrect statements, incorrect pieces with one error, and we will point out the error and explain why it's wrong. So, do you want to take the first one, Michelle?
Absolutely. So the first one says, I like camping because I like to be in nature. So right at the beginning, I can see that camping is with a capital C. We usually reserve a capital, the start of a word using a capital alphabet for proper nouns. So, for example, names, people's names, countries' names would have that, but we would not use it for a noun, a basic noun, or a verb like camping.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a small mistake, but it makes the difference. Capital letter is not necessary. The next one. The best thing about photography is sharing your photos with your friends. You can also give them as gifts. So there's one problem here. This is a very, very long sentence. And maybe you'll notice that you has a capital letter. So that tells us you should be the beginning of a new sentence. We are missing punctuation. We're missing a full stop to break up this sentence to make it, you know, to make it make sense. Because when it's long like this, it gets confusing, it runs on, it's difficult to read. So punctuation can really make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Simona has answered about the previous slide. So I like going skiing in the Dolomites with my husband and my friend. I love it because it's a beautiful sport. We go in winter once a year, Very important is once a year. You've written one time a year. And in English, we say three times, four times, five times, but we say once and twice. So one time, two times, no, once or twice. And also, Michelle has written up I like plus verb, ing, or noun. So, yeah, so you have I like go skiing. You need I like skiing or I like going skiing. So the noun or ing. Okay. So, number three here on our list. People think skydiving is dangerous, but it isn't. What's the problem here, Michelle?
Hmm. Okay. So right at the beginning, we can see that a capital letter hasn't been used at the start of a sentence. And we always use a capital letter at the start of a sentence. So that is the issue here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's necessary. It wasn't necessary the first time. Marcello, if you become an important footballer, you get a lot of money. Is this why football is a good hobby? It's a good point. There's money to be made. Yeah. Not so much with painting, unfortunately, but anyway.
Until you
So,
die. And then,
yeah, poor Van Gogh didn't make any money when he was alive, but now very much so. So, yoga can be a sport relaxing. Now, this is a common error for Italian speakers because of the difference in word order in English and Italian. So, in English, relaxing, a describing word, an adjective, has to come before the noun, a relaxing sport. The word order is incorrect. That's the issue here. So yoga can be a relaxing sport. The next one, Michelle.
okay, the next one is writing a blog is a new hobby. So this is something we've seen today. It's a spelling mistake with the word hobby. So hobby is Hobby and hobbies, Hobbies, is the plural form of the word.
Yeah,
Find it.
and great work. I see Ugo got what was wrong with number four.
Fantastic.
Relaxing sport. Exactly, adjective and noun. So the last one, you can go skiing in the weekend. This is also a mistake we've seen today. A common mistake with prepositions. It's the tricky one. You just have to remember what goes with what phrase with prepositions. So we don't talk about in the weekend, we talk about at the weekend. We use the preposition at. So this is the wrong preposition.
Can we
All
say on
right.
the
So
weekend?
sure, yeah, you can you can say that as well. So at or on, just not in. So yeah, at or on. Right. So how can I begin? So this is an interesting hobby in the picture. I think this is skydiving, a very particular hobby. Not for me, but anyway. So, how can I begin? Describe how someone can start doing this hobby. What equipment do you need? Do you need to take a class? How much time does it take? So we have some adverbs of sequencing,
Hmm.
instructions explaining something. So first, number one thing, you need to, then you can, then after, next you should. So, talking about the process, what's important to do first, what comes after that. These are the words we use. So, how can I begin? So, I will again talk about painting. You guys start answering these questions in the comments as you've been doing. Great participation so far. Keep it up. So, what equipment do you need? You need quite a few things to paint. You need paint, most significantly. You need paint brushes to apply the paint. You need paper or a canvas if you're feeling very professional. Canvas is that tough material that professional artists use, a canvas. And you need, yeah, you just need paints. You need some water or something to mix the paints. And yeah, you need to put something down on your surface area, very important, and something over your clothes because you don't want to go around with paint stains everywhere. Do you need to take a class? I would say it depends. I think no. I think you can just paint for yourself. Don't worry about being the best in the world. In my opinion, it depends on what you want to do with your painting. Maybe if you want to sell them, you should take a class, but if it's just for you, no need. And then I for how much time it takes, that's very personal as well. I personally don't like to spend days and days painting one thing. I like to spend a day on one project and then leave it. For me, I'm not a perfectionist. I don't worry about doing everything perfectly. I just like to be in the moment and do it while I'm doing it. So for me, it doesn't take too much time. So, how about working out, Michelle?
Before we get into that, you mentioned that you put something down on the floor before you start painting. So I wanted to talk about the vocabulary. So we usually call that tarp, where and what it is it's a large sheet of strong and flexible waterproof material, and you guys have probably seen it without realizing what it's called. The full word
Yes.
is tarpaulin, but you can just call it tarp.
Mhm. Yes. That's definitely the proper equipment, but full disclosure, I would usually use a newspaper.
Marcelo says that first you need a lot of courage, and then you can learn the sport if you attend every day. Okay, why do we need courage? Is football a dangerous sport? I don't know. I'm genuinely asking. What do you think, Sean?
When I played it, it was dangerous because I did not know what I was doing. And yeah, I always got hit in the head with the ball. I
Oh,
always fell over. I didn't have the coordination for football. But no, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like skydiving, but
right.
yeah, I think you need confidence to be good at football.
Hmm,
You need to be sure of what you're doing.
that's a good point you make, Marcelo. Just a note though, you can learn the sport if you play every day. So you either play sports or you practice sports. You don't attend sports. We use the verb to attend when you talk about classes, a lecture. What else would you attend, Sean?
You attend, yeah, a lecture, a seminar, a meeting.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I can't think of anything else.
right. So something that has almost an educational purpose, or an administrative purpose. So an event, like Sean said, a meeting, a function, a work function, you would say attend. So to be present at a lecture, meeting, class. Um, Google says first you need a long training. I'm not sure if he's talking about your hobby or his hobby. What do you think?
Fishing?
Yes.
Well, I was no good at fishing when I tried. I never caught a fish, so maybe you do need to train.
Yeah. I'm not good at fishing either. The one time I went fishing, it wasn't the best. So, yep, I definitely need some training. Simona says first you need to have courage. Absolutely, courage is very important. Okay, keep writing your comments to us, and I'll tell you about my hobby now. So, what equipment do you need? You don't really need any equipment, but it would be nice and comfortable to have a yoga mat. And I need my phone because I have my music on my phone, and I find it impossible to work out without the right music.
Hmm.
So that's all you really need, your yoga mat and your phone. But of course, you should have some water with you and you should have a towel with you.
Mhm. Definitely.
And do you need to take a class? Yes, I would strongly suggest taking a class if you've never worked out before, only so that you don't injure yourself. Because working out is a lot about getting the right form, and and you are lifting weights, you can injure yourself. So definitely get a professional to show you how it's done. But after that, you can just do it on your own. And how much time does it take? That's the magic of working out. How much time do you have? If you have an hour, you can work out for an hour. If you have half an hour, that's great. If you have 10 minutes, that's good as well. So it really depends on your schedule and your goals.
Hmm. What's the longest time you've ever spent working out?
I never work out for more than an hour.
Mhm.
I've never worked out for more than an hour because I feel it's kind of pointless after that because when you start working out, you get the best done in the first 50 minutes. Anything beyond that is just exhausting your body
Mhm.
pointlessly, and it
Yeah.
takes longer to recover.
Mm. And do you need to do warm up, stretching, things like that?
Absolutely, absolutely. I warm up at the beginning. So first, you need to warm up. I do some jumping jacks. So basically, just any simple exercises that they taught you in school would be great to warm up. Go back to physical ed or your gym class and just jump up and down. Remember what your teacher taught you, and that's good enough. And then you can start. Um, and you should definitely, at the end, finally, you should stretch so
Mm.
that and cool down. So you take the time to relax your muscles after the stress you've put them through.
Great, great stuff. So we've got a few minutes left. We'll look a little bit at the next slide. So step three, just talking about other things, other aspects that could be to your hobby. So competitions, groups you can join, meetings, where, how often, travel. Negative things, maybe. Are there any negatives to your hobbies? So, the examples you can run a marathon in Boston, New York, or London. You can join a book club and meet new friends. You can go scuba diving in beautiful places like Australia or Mexico. Um, Certainly with painting, there are very many groups, meetings, and competitions for art. You could join a class. Like I said, it's something very personal for me. I don't really share it with other people. I don't show people my paintings either. It's something for me. It's some time for me. Like you said, I always for your workouts, I always listen to music. It's all about me, really.
Mm,
Uh, I
absolutely.
I don't really travel. Certainly, I do go to art galleries and things when I need some inspiration. Negative things, it can be a bit frustrating if you're having a bad day. If you
Mm,
know, if the drawing is not going how you imagined it, that can be a bit frustrating. But I've learned to not be a perfectionist because you get more satisfaction if you don't think about being perfect when you paint and just think about having, a nice time trying something different, experimenting. Hmm.
fantastic.
So, yeah.
Okay, as far as working out, of course, there are many competitions, many groups you can join, meetings, classes, quite often in every gym. But I like we've spoken about it. I usually don't, except for going to the gym. I usually prefer to do this alone. Travel, no, I have never traveled for the purposes of a workout, nor do I intend to. And the negative thing, I think one thing that is negative is that sometimes people get really obsessive about how they look versus how they feel. And I think that is a negative aspect of it. And you should always focus on feeling strong as opposed to looking a certain way.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Great advice from our pro. So, we are coming to the end of our time. It's been a very good webinar, lots and lots of participation today, good few viewers. So we'll
Hmm.
just run through what we were talking about before we finish. So we were looking a lot at the question words, when we use which question words, things like how in questions the prepositions go to the end. So why is for a reason, how often is for frequency, who is for people, where is for places, what is for things, how, manner, condition, quality. Then we had just general discussion about our hobbies. We had the corrections, which were good when it's not necessary, when it's necessary to have a capital, punctuation, word order, spelling mistakes, and prepositions, and then our sequencing adverbs. So first, then, next, and finally, when you're discussing things. Anything to add, Michelle?
No, I think that's it. You've covered everything. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you for writing in and commenting. This has made the lesson so much better. So we really appreciate it.
Hmm. Yeah. So have a good evening, everyone, and bye bye.
Bye.